There are injuries, and then there's what you're about to see. Yeah, baseball can be dangerous. Fastballs flying at your head, outfield walls coming out of nowhere, and cleats with bad intentions. But every now and then, it gets so wildly absurd, you'd swear the sport was cursed by a mischievous baseball god with a seriously dark sense of humor. We're talking injuries that don't come from 100-mile-per-hour heat, but from sneezes, sandwiches, shoelaces, and actual nightmares. Players sidelined by frozen hamburgers, betrayed by their own footwear, or attacked by showers. Yes, really, these aren't your regular sprains and strains. These are the freakiest, funniest, most jaw-droppingly ridiculous injuries in baseball history. The kind of stories that make you laugh, then blink twice and say, wait, that actually happened? And kicking it all off is a guy whose biggest enemies weren't pitchers or rival fans, but his own bathroom. Number 1. Freddy Freeman's shower slip. You've just limped through the playoffs with a grapefruit-sized ankle, and now you're finally home. No crowds, no pressure, you in a hot shower, until that same shower hits you with the nastiest plot twist of your career. Imagine you're one of the best hitters in baseball. You've just dragged your team through the playoffs on a swollen ankle the size of a grapefruit, and you're finally back home, ready for some much-needed rest. Maybe a hot shower, maybe a victory nap, but before you can even exhale, boom, you get bodied by your own shower. Yep, Dodgers first baseman Freddy Freeman aggravated his postseason ankle injury doing something as heroic as stepping into the shower, like a grandpa trying not to slip on a hotel bathroom tile. One wrong step, and boom, the man was limping again. It was so bad he missed the entire season opener. And sure, showers are slippery, but they're not even the biggest threat in this game. While Freddy caught an L from his own bathroom, this next guy's been losing to everything. Burgers, boats, his kids, you name it. He's probably sprained an ankle on it. Number 2. Jeremy Affeldt, baseball's most accident-prone dad. If you've ever wondered how parenting could become a contact sport, meet Jeremy Affeldt, the only pitcher whose real rivalry was with fatherhood. Jeremy Affeldt's injury history doesn't read like a baseball player's resume. It reads like a sitcom dad's greatest hits. Let's go all the way back to 2011. He's just trying to make some burgers at home, being a reasonable adult, until the frozen patties decide to fight back. So what does Affeldt do? He grabs a knife, because of course, stabbing solid ice meat bricks is a great idea. One wrong move later, he slices a nerve in his hand and lands himself on the injured list. Not from a fastball, but from a burger. And then in 2012, he comes home from a game, all wholesome vibes, ready to hug his kid. But this kid, no chill, jumps into Affeldt's arms like it's a WWE ladder match, and boom, knee injury, just from trying to catch a hug. Then in 2015, it was a lovely family lake day. Peaceful, calm, until Affeldt slips off an inflatable dock and subluxates his knee. Again, man went full Looney Tunes 3 times in 5 years, and not a single fastball was involved. At this point, Jeremy Affeldt wasn't pitching anymore, he was playing full contact dad. Still, as chaotic as his parenting injuries were, at least he was awake for them. This next guy caught hands in his sleep, and I'm not joking. Number 3. Glenn Allen Hill, dream spider attack. Toronto Blue Jays outfielder Glenn Allen Hill didn't just have nightmares. His nightmares had real-world consequences. Hill suffered from severe arachnophobia. One night, his fear took over in the most bizarre way imaginable. It started with a dream, a terrifying one. So he was being attacked by giant monstrous spiders. Not your everyday creepy crawly, full-on horror movie level arachnids. Mid-dream, Hill panicked, except he wasn't just tossing and turning like the rest of us do when things get spooky in REM sleep. Nope, Glenn Allen Hill leapt out of bed in full sprint, still completely asleep, and crashed straight through a glass coffee table in his apartment. That's right, he basically went full NFL wide receiver through furniture, all because of an imaginary spider ambush. When he woke up, he was bleeding and covered in glass cuts. The injuries were so bad that he had to be placed on the 15-day disabled list, not because of a pulled hamstring or a wild fastball, but because he had lost a fight to his own dream. And to this day, it remains one of the weirdest and most infamous injury stories in Major League Baseball history. And if you think that's wild, just wait, because the next guy got taken out by something even more innocent than imaginary spiders: a deep tissue massage. Number 4. Carlos Correa and the deep tissue massage of doom. Massages are supposed to be relaxing, calming, a chance to reset your muscles and your mind, unless you're Carlos Correa. Then it's a combat sport. In 2019, Correa was already dealing with a few knocks, decided to do what any responsible athlete would do: get a massage. Just a routine deep tissue session to loosen up the tight spot, right? Wrong. Somewhere between the elbow pressure and spinal realignment. Correa heard a sickening pop, not from the massage table creaking, but from inside his own body. Turns out his rib fractured mid-massage. One moment he's chasing wellness, the next he's chasing his breath. When the Houston Astros medical staff looked into it, they couldn't even play it off as an in-game incident. They had to tell the league with a straight face. Yes, our all-star shortstop got wrecked by relaxation. He missed 6 full weeks of action, all thanks to the Swedish elbow of doom. It was the kind of injury that made every fan, and probably every teammate, clutch their own sides in phantom sympathy. Because who gets taken out by a massage? Carlos Correa, apparently. We all agree that a massage is one of the craziest ways to get injured, right? But what if I told you that an unlucky player caught an L from something far more ridiculous? His own shoe? Number 5. Will Smith injured by his own cleat. Will Smith, not the Fresh Prince, but the Milwaukee Brewers reliever, was having a solid spring in 2016. He was throwing heat, dominating hitters, and looking like a key part of the bullpen rotation. But then he went toe-to-toe with an unexpected opponent, his own shoe, and the shoe won. After a minor league game, Smith was just doing what every ball player does, getting ready to hit the shower. He stood on one foot, pulled hard on his other cleat, and snap! His knee twisted violently. He didn't fall. He wasn't running. He didn't even slip on a wet floor. He literally tore his lateral collateral ligament just trying to take off his shoe like a normal human being. It was the kind of injury that leaves you speechless and shoeless. It wasn't even the first time a baseball player got injured off the field, but this one felt different. There were no wild bar fight, no trampoline accidents, no skiing disaster, just one stubborn shoe and one pitcher who paid the price. Yeah, he later returned to the pitch, but not before earning an honorary spot in MLB's Hall of Infamous Injuries, right next to Steve Sparks getting injured by a phone book. Number 6. Steve Sparks and the phone book that broke dreams. You've heard of players breaking bats, maybe even breaking records. How about breaking your own shoulder trying to break a phone book? That's the legend of Steve Sparks. Back in 1994, Sparks was a 28-year-old pitcher with the Milwaukee Brewers, hungry to finally make the major league roster. During spring training, the team brought in a motivational speaker, the type who rips phone books in half and walks on hot coals. So naturally, Sparks thought, he can do it, I can too. Spoiler alert, he couldn't. Inspired or possessed by pure chaos, Sparks grabbed a phone book, gave it his best shot, and ended up dislocating his non-throwing shoulder. He didn't even make the team that year. He injured himself trying to audition for a circus act, not even during a workout or in a game. A literal paper product took him out. It wasn't career-ending, but it did delay his big break in the majors. He eventually made it back and even had a solid career as a knuckleballer. To this day, Sparks is remembered not for what he pitched, but for losing a wrestling match with a phone book. Somewhere, Jeremy Affeldt is nodding in solidarity. But while Sparks got wrecked by paper, our next guy, Tyler Colvin, got stabbed by wood, and not just any wood, a flying broken bat mid-play. Number 7. Tyler Colvin versus the flying bat shard. Just when you think baseball's weirdest injuries couldn't get any weirder, here comes a flying weaponized bat to change your mind. In 2010, Chicago Cubs rookie Tyler Colvin was chilling on third base, just trying to tag up like a responsible base runner. His teammate Wellington Castillo cracked a line drive. Nothing unusual until the bat exploded on contact. Now, usually when a bat breaks, the pieces fall harmlessly, but not this time. One massive shard flew like a javelin straight toward Colvin's chest. Not his leg, not his shoulder, his chest. The thing punctured his lung. Yes, he got stabbed by a broken bat mid-game, like it was a Game of Thrones, but with pine tar. Colvin managed to walk off the field under his own power, which might be the most baller thing ever, but he was rushed to the hospital and diagnosed with a collapsed lung. A chest tube had to be inserted, and his season was instantly over. No contact, no collision, just third base, a splintered bat, and a direct hit from the baseball god. So yeah, MLB players train with elite coaches, hit in million-dollar cages, and have access to top-tier medic. But none of that means squat when your biggest rivals are bat shards, cheeseburgers, massages, and your own cleats. Because in this league, you don't always go down swinging. Sometimes you go down sneezing. If you enjoyed this ridiculous ride through baseball's most unbelievable injuries, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and drop a comment telling us the weirdest injury you've ever seen or had. And hey, watch your step out there, because in baseball, even your shoes might be plotting.